young fellow that after 30 something in school are actually going to involved.
Yes.
And he's probably 22, and he got up and told the politician that, you know what, we're the ones that are going to pay for what you're doing for today.
Thank you.
You know, and we stay in touch.
Advice you have, then
Ms. Bennett, my name is Nicole Lebrassard, and I would like to give this to you. This is something that we've launched, which is IXU, which is Indigenous and Civil Unified Sovereignty Enactment, and that is an endeavor that we are launching in instilling direct democracy instead of representative democracy, so that the people finally have a voice in Canada.
Well, of course, that was a secret in the Kelowna court, right? You know that in Kelowna it was one member, one. I mean, we in the Liberal Party had to do that, right? We had to get rid of delegated conventions and such that every member of the party had a say in picking the leader. And so, okay, well, this is very interesting. Okay, so is there a website or?
Yes, I'll give you a sheet here. It's IXU.
No, I'm from Toronto. Are you from Toronto?
Yes, they're going.
I have the Native men residents in my riding and Sagate, so I have people from all nations who land in my state, in my land for all not good reasons, right? Because they're homeless shelter and. But, oh my word, they're doing an amazing job.
A lot of working class people.
Oh yeah. Well, I've got a few really rich ones that skew the average. You know, when you have the Westons living in your riding, you know, it doesn't. It only takes a couple of billionaires to make it look like my riding's rich, but it's not rich. So rich. Yeah.
I was hoping to ask you a question in regards to the 68 parliamentarians that are sitting on the Committee for Global Governance of the United Nations. I know that you're sit on that, so there's even David Suzuki, Maud Barlow, Justin Trudeau, Nicole Turmel. We've got 68 parliamentary people that sit on that committee at the UN.
And what's the committee again?
The Parliamentary Committee for Globalization.
Really?
Yeah, your name is there. I think your name is there.
Okay. Well, send me something about that.
Yeah, but I think what happened is they were asked the question if they would support that, and now we have 68. I'm going to have to recheck to make sure that your name is on there, but I know that Justin's is.
Okay, well,
so is
I need to know more about it. Yeah.
Elizabeth May is on there, Nicole Turmel, and globalization. The committee on for global governance. So, and I haven't seen any of those 68 people actually say it to the constituents and to warn them about what's happening within globalization, because even within globalization, okay, they're calling it just business, but it's something else when business dictates what you eat, what you do, and the air you breathe. So right now what we're seeing is it's a corporate United Nations coming in under globalization where the people have no voice. So this is why, like with everything that's going on in Canada, the TPP and all of these things, as politicians, the ones who sign these bills and make these laws are the ones responsible, and they're the root cause of what is happening here in Parliament and to all, even the missing and murdered women.
Well, as you know, Parliament really isn't being asked to discuss most of these international agreements at all. So even to send the CF-18, you know, was never discussed in Parliament. So, you know, I think that we're finding that again, the executive branch versus the parliamentary branch. I mean, it's what we ran the last election on, right? Contempt of Parliament, where parliamentarians weren't given the information with which to make decisions, right? Whether it was the crime bills, whether it's the debt claims, to the fact that a majority on a committee can just erase a committee set of recommendations and replace them with their own, which is what happened on missing and murdered Indigenous women. Right?
But the same
majority on the committee.
But the same thing is happening at the UN level with this sustainable development. I mean, as Canadians, we should be able to dictate what we're going to do in this country to save our environment. We don't need it coming down from the UN by people we've never elected, we don't even know, and have no clue what's going on in this territory.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
well, we'll find out.
yeah, because we're hoping that the parliamentarians will side with the people and stand for the people in allowing us to have our direct democracy and having a voice, and by removing final decision-making authority from the parliamentarians who are making really bad decisions.
Or at least from my perspective, and it's a limited one, I must say, but I would love to see it if the Liberals and the NDP parties could work in consensus like they used to, like these particular bills, and at the very best, one certain people and one certain constituents.
It's hard to do in terms of the bottom up, in terms of what riding associations choose to do, but you know, I think that there probably is some of that happening. Some riding, some conversations.
Yeah, I hope so, because the Canadian people would really like to have an ability to have a change.
But I think that we need people like you who also understand that if it comes like 2008, the fact
We
that
don't want to repeat.
we don't want to, but we need people to understand that a coalition is not undemocratic.
Exactly.
I don't think we want to go to a two-party system like they have in the States. That's really, but we do want to know that if sort of more people voted for a party that believes in Kyoto, that you can't have an artificial majority government pull out.
But I'll be honest with you. All of the research that I've done, having to toe the political party line is what removed our power as the voice of this country. And the political party system is the root cause of the people not having a voice.
I don't think that's the case. I think it's quite the opposite. Actually, I've been to Nunavut, where the so-called consensus government, where it's two parties, cabinet, not cabinet. I found it very difficult in terms of the accusations. It's not collegial or consensus. I think we do need parties, because you can't do anything as an individual member. You actually have to have a posse of people who believe the same thing, and hopefully we can all cooperate on the things that matter, right?
I would like to know if you'd be willing to sit down with me and I could show you the Haudenosaunee Great Law Constitution.
Yes.
And the thing is if all of the representatives here became independent and represented actually their writing, the people who voted for them and then came back, because the problem here is the Parliament having final decision over our power. And
I just want to say that if you put your people first, you can find all kinds of compromises in the party system. Meaning that I chaired this subcommittee on persons with disabilities. We only ever had unanimous reports, and it included from Deb Gray to Wendy Lill to Madeleine Delphonse-Gerard from the Bloc. We were able to find language that allowed us to hold the Liberal government, majority government, to account. We gave hard-hitting reports telling the government that they needed to do better.
Yes.
Nowadays, it's I think the culture changed with this conservative party that has a very different understanding of the role of a member of parliament. They don't see that they're supposed to put their riding or their people first.
And listen to the voices of other parties.
And so with the three-line whip, if you think of what Paul Martin was putting forward, so the three-line whip is things that you ran on, things that were in my brochure, things that I shouldn't be allowed to come in and to just change my mind when I'm here because somebody called my office. I ran on it. It's in my brochure. I will be with my party on it that was there. The two-line whip is meant to be with some serious understanding that in certain issues, the wishes of my riding will not coincide with the party. And so if somebody's trying to ban road salt and the salt factories in my riding, people will understand why I vote against it, and that is totally legit.
Right.
The one-line whip, or the free vote, is a free vote. The other thing that happened here is that the government started bringing in government business as a private member's bill, which put us all in disarray because we've always been very good at free vote is free vote, except when it's a underhanded way of pushing government agenda forward.
And pushing a lot of bills in one bill.
Yeah.
So half the time you had...
So when we look at parliamentary reform, I think we will begin with things like no omnibus bill, Parliament having to agree on prorogation. I would like to see parliamentary secretaries taken off the committees, because we had 5 parliamentary secretaries on that missing and murder committee, which just is doing the bidding of the minister, right? So there's some real low-hanging fruit that Justin has agreed to, and which, you know, was in the most, you know, voted most popular resolution from our caucus at the Montreal Convention. But no, I would love, no, but I think that the Haudenosaunee, I mean, you know, my friend Cynthia Wesley Eskimo, who was just here, you know, she's taught me a lot. I mean, it is on almost everything. We should go back to basics, and where in terms of the people who taught us democracy here in this country. But whether it's medical model versus medicine wheel, the learning by doing, asking, not telling in terms of leadership, elders versus elderly, sustainability, 7 generations out. There's a whole bunch of first principles that we need to get back to.
But with us, we want to focus on one question for all Canadians. Who is best to decide for you and your family and this country? Yourself or somebody you've elected that has to toe the party line? Because a lot of the 2 NDPs who supported their people had to cross the floor and become independent. There is a problem in this country, and the people need to have a voice.
Well, we do that in terms of referenda. One of the problems with direct democracy that lots of people find is we could just vote every night with our channel changer on the television.
We have the technology to do this.
But it means that you have to have read it. You have to have known what it is. And one of the problems is that on some of these bills that look like bumper sticker sort of common sense would tell us kinds of things, that you can end up with people being persuaded by the bumper sticker kind of propaganda. And that's what representative democracy is about. It's about people knowing that I will do the due diligence, I will read the bill, I will consult my people, and that's where I wanted to do.
But this is where the system has failed us, though, because we don't have consultation in our community.
You couldn't have I mean, you know, you can't, sometimes 3 or 4 community meetings in a month in order for the chief to know what to do. You know, I put a private members bill up that would be sort of mandatory minimums in citizen engagement. But you can't come here and stay 4 years without consulting your people, right? I mean, you should have.
Well, some have done it.
And some of them do it. But
some of them do it, and
online
more
every Sunday night at 9 p.m. for my Facebook account.
Yes. Well, I want to thank you. I wanted to thank you for being a great critic, because I do. I'm not all against all politicians. I just think that they do a better job if they were independent and representing their communities. And we have the technology to be able to finally not throw our responsibility onto your shoulder, but to do our homework as citizens.
Key referendums. For example, this is an example of the women in Parliament.
I have it.
We need to have this bill.
Well, we couldn't get the women on the committee.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And yes, and please ask Justin why he sits on that that Committee for Globalization, Parliamentary Committee for Globalization. Thank you.
Yeah, I've just heard of it.